Ready. Clap. Right. Face. Forward. Color. Forward. Merge.
Before we begin, I wanted to give you a brief history of the Alumni Association and what we're all about. People always ask us, what do you do? It was originally spearheaded by former principal, Dr. James Forcelina, in the 90s. And over time, interest ebbed and flowed, but in 2004, the goals for this organization, evolved. We raise funds through our golf tournament and support the schools and clubs and organizations here. And we use those funds to provide scholarships for eligible graduates. Another goal was to reestablish the Hall of Fame. And for those alumni who brought pride to their school and community. So here we are doing just that. As we get underway with our ceremony, it's a great pleasure that I introduce to you our principal at Brien McMahon, Barbara Wood. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It was an interesting ride down 95 today with that bridge closed, I can tell you that. I just wanted to congratulate all the inductees. Congratulations. I did read in the Norwalk Hour, so I learned a little bit about each of you, and especially Alexander Restrepo, who's being inaugurated posthumously. One of the things that I am really proud as Principal Brien McMahon is the Alumni Network, and how special it is here, because it's not something that I see at every high school. It's not something even at the high school I graduated from. So I think it's important to take an opportunity to think about the tradition that comes with being an alumni here. This last week, the district is doing something where they are, having each principal make a video and really highlight themselves and highlight the school. And one of the things, it'll come out next week on Facebook, it'll have its big premiere, that I talk about in the video is that this high school has such a sense of tradition, and we really went about highlighting how many teachers, paraprofessionals, staff members we have that are actually alumni of the school. Like, it was like this huge number, and I was asking them to send me in their high school yearbook photo, and I literally kept forgetting people, and people were reminding me because the number was so huge. And I think it just says a lot about this school and this community, and what makes it special. And really the things that I talk about are the sense of tradition here. We have a number of events, whether it's a Thanksgiving game, whether it's homecoming, that we really want to bring back all of our alumni. At the graduation ceremony, there's a very special moment at the end. We say it frequently, that once a senator, always a senator. So again, I just want to extend my congratulations to all of the recipients. It's very prestigious. Last June, I think it was in June, we had someone call, and they happened to be the niece of Brien McMahon, and they were up from Florida, and what was so important to them was to come to the school and kind of walk around and look at what we had on display about Brien McMahon. And she looked at that Hall of Fame with all the photos, and it was such a special moment, and she actually was just very nostalgic, and found it to be such an honor to have the opportunity to come visit the school. So thank all of you who are alumni, who have made this school what it is today. And again, congratulations to Lisa Grant, BJ Lawless, and Alexander Restrepo. Thank you.
want to say that I also received an unexpected letter from our state senator, Bob Duff. He wrote in part, "I offer my personal congratulations to Lisa Wilson Grant, B.J. Lawless, and the family of Alexander Restrepo today. All are wonderful choices for induction." Just to summarize, the three alumni today include a restaurant owner and philanthropist, a local preservationist, and a most honorable U.S. Navy SEAL, bringing the total to 43 Hall of Fame members. To start, we're going to start here. Each inductee will be introduced by a person significant to them, be it a family member or a friend. The first one will be Jane Graham will introduce our first inductee, Lisa Wilson Grant.
This is very loud. Is this on?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello and welcome. It's so nice to see all of you coming out to. It's so nice to see you coming out to honor our inductees. Thank you for coming. My name is Jane Smith Graham, and I'm a graduate of the great class of 1965. Our class has been recruit. I'm sorry, this lighting. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe it's better. Our class has held reunions every 5 years since 1970. And Mary Ann's one of our class members out there. And I believe we are the only class that continually awards scholarships every year to deserving seniors. I'm currently the corresponding secretary for the Brien McMahon High School Alumni Association, a position I thoroughly enjoy. Lisa Grant is a lifelong Norwalk resident and graduated from Brien McMahon in 1991. She was the ski club vice president and active in the Key Club, yearbook committee, field hockey, volleyball, tennis, and inducted into the National Honor Society. I've always thought of Lisa as a Norwalk cheerleader for Norwalk. She has a strong interest in regional history and has been a valuable member of and commissioner of the Norwalk Historical Society. A recent notable endeavor was the finding and restoring of a 120-year-old horse trail dedicated to Nathan Hale. Lisa solicited assistance in financing the restoration of the project and even located the grandson of the fountain designer. After a 10-year labor of love, the fountain was mounted in a garden at the Fodor Farm in Norwalk on June 6, 2021, which coincidentally, I understand, is Lisa's birthday, so that was quite an occasion. Lisa was awarded the Val Weber Fay Presentation Leadership Award in May of 2021. Lisa is an avid quilter and sewer. She has a collection of vintage sewing machines and has learned to repair and maintain them. She has created patriotic quilts and presented them to several local veterans through the nationwide Quilts of Valor program annually. If you follow Lisa on Facebook, you've seen the elaborate and creative Halloween costumes that she has created for her two grandsons and in the past years. The dinosaur costumes were masterpieces. Lisa authored 2 books related to her interest in history. Norwalk, which contains vintage photographs and interesting facts about our city. She co-authored a book, Roten Point, about the former amusement park in the Rowayton section of Norwalk, and includes many vintage postcard images. As a matter of fact, that's how I met Lisa, through our mutual interest in collecting postcards, mainly through eBay auctions. I was invited by friends to the Roten Point History Day and was asked to bring my binder of Roten Point postcards. While browsing through the other binders, a woman looking at one of my postcards exclaimed, "Oh, I just missed that by a few minutes." I looked up and we realized that we were bidding against each other for the similar cards. eBay doesn't use names, but rather code names. We laughed, and from then on, we recognized our code names when bidding on postcards. Lisa was recently recognized by the annual DAR luncheon, where she was honored as an honorary chapter regent. She presented junior ROTC bronze medals to 2 deserving cadets, one from Brien McMahon and one from Norwalk High School. From Norwalk High at the end of the year ceremony, which is held annually. Lisa's resume contains far more awards and recognitions from area nonprofit organizations, but I will let her expound on those. And I'm very, very pleased and honored to introduce Lisa to the Brien McMahon High School Alumni Association's 9th Hall of Fame. Sorry about that. I couldn't see.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to all who are here today. I wish to thank you all for coming and thank the Alumni Association for all the work that they do and have done to prepare for today's Brien McMahon High School Hall of Fame induction. And to the JROTC cadets for all of their assistance today. Special thanks to Jane Smith Graham for the nomination. It is certainly one of the most meaningful personal honors that I have ever received, and it's quite a privilege to be included here with the other graduates who have brought great honor to this school with their accomplishments in service. I'm standing here today as a proud senator. I even wore my field hockey jacket, because when else am I going to wear it? I am the second person from my Brien McMahon High School class of 1981 to be included. The other is Debbie Boconfuso, and her sisters are right over there. So I have tended to live my life based on what I think of as the high school model of learning. That is, attempting to master many subjects at the same time. After high school, I worked full-time and took courses at night in architecture, graphic design, and landscape design. Started a family early, but always continued to broaden my knowledge base and skills. I took courses in photography and painting and pursued hobbies such as sewing, quilting, and more recently, vintage sewing machines. I was fortunate to grow up in the 70s in that I was able to take woodshop, metal, sewing, and cooking. I learned how to be industrious and how to use the right tools for the job, to persevere, build bit by bit, and then the job is done, and an added bonus is a tremendous feeling of accomplishment. My husband, Jordan, who's in the front there, and I have a family landscape business, and fortunately, self-employment allows for the flexibility to weave in other interests. I developed a passion for genealogy and history, particularly in the local history of Norwalk and its former amusement park, Roten Point, and I dove deeply into those topics. I'm blessed to live close to my family and have 2 beautiful grandsons that live right here in Norwalk, that I get to spend a lot of time with. And we have time to travel and also take road trips, usually in our camper. It's possible that my not specializing solely in any one field of study allowed me the freedom to learn and try new things and not necessarily be pigeonholed into any one particular field. What I've noticed through life is that many seemingly disparate topics start to connect. Math is necessary for landscape design drawings and figuring out quilt patterns and yardage. Artwork in museums depicts scenes from my ancestors' struggles. Even local history intersects with some of my colonial ancestors. Images I've shared on social media have prompted others to connect with their family history and learn about Norwalk and each other. I've recently read what Leonardo da Vinci once said, and this rings true to my beliefs. To develop a complete mind, study the science of art, study the art of science, learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. And I do that. However, I think a lot of my successes have simply come from the fact that I just bothered to try and never really worried about failure. Over the years, I've found that many people, as they get older, tend not to venture out into the unknown areas as easily as they once did, or in some places had to, as they did in high school. I remember kids on ski trips back then who never skied before, hopping on the chairlift to the top of the mountain. And in my 30s, I was surprised to learn that some of my able-bodied friends just stopped skiing altogether, just accepting the status quo of life. Not only not trying new things, but not continuing activities once enjoyed. At my book signings, a lot of people would tell me about the book they'll write someday, and they never do. Or worse, they have ideas and they want me to write their book. And writing a book doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay to start in the middle. Genealogy is never all done. Put together what you have. By not jumping in and starting, or not spending the time to continue, there are missed opportunities, experiences, and growth. Continuing the task takes work, but then that usually results in connectedness with other people and a joy of learning and sharing, and ultimately perhaps even a sense of purpose. I had so many good teachers here at Brien McMahon. The very first one that made an impression on me was Mr. Block. I had Joel Block for meteorology class at the Brien McMahon Annex in 9th grade. Today it's Norwalk City Hall on East Avenue. And it was the Norwalk High before that, but nobody talks about it used to be Brien McMahon Annex. So I remember him telling us that this would be a college level class and it would be hard. But his presentation made it fun. He taught this class with so much enthusiasm. We'd even climb up a ladder and go on the roof to read the weather instruments. Mr. Block gave each student a special name, and I was the farmer because I wore overalls the day he was handing out names. His enthusiasm made it fun to learn, and even though the material was not easy. Years later, just after I wrote the Images of America Norwalk book, I met Joel Block and his wife, Debbie Catulli, who also was my English teacher here, at the Post Road Diner. I arrived with a promised signed copy, and miraculously, this being decades later, he still remembered me as the farmer. I was touched by how much they both cared and how they were proud of my work, and I hope teachers here today know that you'll impact your students' future and how important it is to exude positive energy, to be inspiring. Having attended a diverse school system has been an asset to my many positions I've held, particularly when I worked as field operations supervisor in the decennial census. I'm comfortable talking to almost anyone, regardless of his or her ethnicity, position, or background. I have found great joy in sharing stories and connecting with the community in person and through social media. When I worked on the long-term restoration of the Nathan Hale Memorial Fountain, a motivating factor was that by finally getting it all restored, its existence might continue to inspire the next generation to learn about our American Revolutionary War history right here in Norwalk. So I just have to say that Nathan Hale was America's first spy. I've seen the statue of him at CIA headquarters, and he is Connecticut's state hero. There may be many places around the state associated with his name, but it is Norwalk that is the only place in Connecticut associated with his fateful mission. And remember that as we head into America's 250 in 2 years. I guess I inherited the keep really busy gene from my father, Don Wilson. He taught math here at Brien McMahon from the 60s to the late 90s. And I never met any student who didn't love his style of teaching. He refereed FCX sports and coached the boys' tennis team here. Best of all for me was that he organized the ski trips for the ski club, which we all enjoyed. And he's unfortunately not able to be here today. He's in Jupiter, Florida. In my family, there are 3 generations of involvement here at Brien McMahon High School. My father as a teacher, my sister and I, and both my children attended here twice, first as toddlers in the child development program and then later for high school. With regards to community service, if I have an interest in being involved with something I feel like I could make a difference, I sign up. I sewed face masks for the first responders during the pandemic and sewed tree mats for the city trees. I do what I can to preserve buildings that are special to Norwalk's history. Through my involvement with the DAR, Daughters of American Revolution, I found that there are many ways to be involved in community service, particularly with veterans, and I enjoy awarding JROTC bronze medals to deserving cadets from both high schools in Norwalk. I love giving back to the community that has supported and helped me grow into the person I am today, particularly for the support and encouragement of my father, Donald Wilson, where it all started, and to whom I dedicate and attribute this honor. Thank you.
Our next inductee, Alexander Restrepo, is being inducted posthumously. His sister, Adriana, will be speaking on his behalf. Adriana?
Sorry, tissues. Do I just speak? Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Adriana Larshevek, Alex's sister. On behalf of my dad, Horacio, my brother, Marco, and cousin Victor, thank you for attending Alex's induction into the Hall of Fame at Brien McMahon High School. Alex was nominated by his high school friend, Robert Sedita. Both wrestled and became fast friends, sharing many Friday nights under the lights and matches during the weekends, along with some antics. There's even a rumor of a stolen pig from old McDonald's farm showing up for attendance the last day of senior year. That's one thing about Alex. There were always stories with him, not the made-up kind, but events that happened to him. From flipping his VW bus on Connecticut Avenue and not just walking away from it, but running away and ending up in Rowayton. Alex also had 3 different birthdays: October 9th for his Social Security, October 1st, his actual birthday on the driver's license, and October 10th in his military papers. There were many more amusing occurrences that happened to Alex's high school years, but I would be here for a very long time. And I'm sure Robert and his other buddies could share more in depth of some of the stories. Alex was recognized many times for his performance on the football field and was the 1977 Connecticut State Champion wrestling in his weight class. Unbeknownst to the Restrepo family, Robert not only nominated Alex for the Hall of Fame wall, he placed 2 bricks in Alex's honor at the Navy SEAL Museum in Florida, one in particular with Alex's wrestling nickname, Lobo. So Robert, thank you. Because of Robert nominating Alex, our family thought it was appropriate if Robert spoke of Alex, but Robert unfortunately is not able to attend, so I will read what he wrote of Alex. First of all, this is from Robert. First of all, I would like to thank everyone on the committee for choosing Alex for the Brien McMahon High School Hall of Fame. It's a wonderful recognition that he certainly deserves for his courage, sacrifice, and commitment to 25 years of service to the U.S. Navy, the Basic Underwater Demolition Team, and the newly formed SEAL Team 6. As you know, Navy SEALs are carefully selected for their character, integrity, and judgment, which all describe Alex perfectly. Eventually, Alex went on to support several government agencies. Alex and I were high school friends and were on the wrestling team together. We shared our locker together and even built a shelf for us in the locker. At times, Alex was quiet but intense and very focused, especially in sports. He also had some fun side about him, and I have some great party memories, some that I probably will not mention. He definitely knew how to work hard and play hard. I visited Alex in Virginia Beach and also saw him at our 40th high school reunion. I lost touch with him shortly after that, and because of his status in the military, I was unable to find him. I tried to reach him to let him know that our wrestling coach, Jack, had passed away, and I later learned of Alex's passing. In Alex's honor, I had a brick placed at the Navy SEAL Museum in Fort Pierce, Florida, which will provide a permanent legacy for Alex's friends and family. We don't often think about or consider who pays the cost for our freedom. I would like to thank Alex for that, along with his commitment and fight to make the world a better place. I am so honored to have been his friend. So, this is from our family. To begin with, I must say, if Alex were alive, he would have graciously declined this nomination and induction. While proud of his service to country, he was unassuming of it all, not just with his service, but in his life too. I say this because Alex always flew under the radar with his accomplishments and his accolades. There are times when he would receive a distinguished medal, and only months later would the family learn of it. Why would we not want to celebrate him? I believe the answer lies in the oath that he took when he became part of the first Navy SEAL Team 6. You protect your country, and there is a code of silence. You do what is expected, and you do it well, and you move on with service and life. Although there were times Marco or I would ask questions of his tours, and he'd share some juicy tidbits, we would just be mesmerized at his every word. And he was quite the storyteller too, using his entire body for the full effect as well as mimicking any noise that was needed. And then we'd be like, wow, really? This happened? It's like a movie. Our minds couldn't fathom that this really happened. In typical Alex, he would just shrug his shoulders and go on doing whatever he was doing prior to the story. When you think of a Navy SEAL Team 6 member, you think of the gun battles, the explosions and carnage, and basically the badasses that they are. But what Alex took pride in most, and how he liked to define himself and his work, was the number of lives that he saved. While we celebrate Alex's military accomplishments, let us not forget the man and his love for family. The son, the brother, the cousin, the uncle, the friend, and husband to Amy, and most importantly, father of 3 beautiful children, Allie, Kyle, and Lauren. That's when he was boastful of all of our accomplishments and milestones, from his kids' first soccer game to us graduating college, to having our children, he was not only thrilled for us, but proud for us. Where Alex shied away from his numerous awards and accolades, he never did shy away from touting his golf game. He won several Navy golf tournaments, and that is where Alex would finally jump at the chance to have some bragging rights. In addition to his love of golf, he enjoyed running, especially races with his children. He relished time skiing, and we would have countless fun memories of ski trips we took each winter. Marco could write a hilarious book about their ski adventures. It was a treasured time spent together each year when we were younger. While we may first think of Alex as a Navy SEAL, he was much more than that to us. He embodied devotion to his family first and his country second. I could go on for hours speaking to the many ways he touched the lives of everyone he knew and encountered, but my time here is short. I would close in saying that Alex lived his life devoted to his family, friends, and his work ethic, where no task was too small to gain his full attention. We are immensely proud of him as a SEAL, a brother, a father, trusted friend, and comrade to so many. He is so severely missed by all who loved him. Thank you for this opportunity to honor his legacy as a McMahon athlete, graduate, and servant to his country. We hope his study of hard work, determination, devotion, and grit is as inspiring to all of those who learn about him as it is to us. We love you, Alex.
Let it go. Our third inductee, B.J. Lawless, will be introduced by his wife, Marissa.
Hello. Once again, congratulations to all of the inductees, and thank you for all of our friends and family for coming today. To be honest, my mother is the one that first encouraged me to nominate BJ for this honor, and again, to be honest, I kind of brushed it off at the beginning, thinking, if you know my mother, what did she see on Facebook now? But then I thought to myself and thought of all of BJ's accomplishments, academically and professionally, and I immediately started typing away. To say I'm proud of him would be an understatement. I'm constantly in awe. Oh God, I didn't think I was gonna get all emotional. I'm constantly in awe of the amount of things that this man can handle in a day. The phone's constantly ringing, going off. If you have ever hung out with him, you know that. But, you know, between 4 restaurants, a catering company, a charitable foundation that has not 1, but 2 golf tournaments throughout the year, it's a lot, but BJ handles it with grace and honestly makes it look pretty easy. Working in the restaurant industry takes a very thick skin, let alone owning 4 of them. But with BJ, under that thick skin is honestly one of the most humble, warmest, and generous hearts of anybody I know. I could go on and on and on about the many ways in which BJ gives back to this community, whether it's sponsoring local sports teams, offering discounts to first responders, donating food to local events. BJ's just always willing to give back. And that goes outside of the community and directly into his family and friend life as well. As we speak, there is a fundraiser going on right now with 10 other local restaurants to raise money for local Norwalk families for Thanksgiving. This has become an annual event, and BJ will work directly with the social workers in the Norwalk public school system to figure out exactly which families are in need. So that is my shameless plug on the Restaurant Hive to keep a lookout and make a donation if you can. All of these things, I would say the largest and maybe most rewarding for him is awarding a Norwalk senior a $10,000 four-year scholarship to attend a college or university when they normally would not have had the funds to do so themselves. I'm honored and proud to be a part of all of the events that take place through the BJ Ryan Foundation because of BJ. These are honestly just a few highlights of everything he does for the community throughout the year. There's just so many other reasons I could go on and on and on, but he deserves every ounce of credibility and honor that this award has to offer. So it is now my honor to introduce BJ to accept.
Thank you. Just give me a second. Normally, when my wife makes me cry, I've done something horrible. So I'm just going to relish in this for a second. I would like to congratulate Lisa Alexander and his family. I would love to thank the Alumni Association for this honor. It is one of the highlights of my life so far. I have to thank my wife, who actually did nominate me, even though it took a while. Thank you for being the best partner and wife I could have ever asked for, and thank you for allowing me to continue on this restaurant journey, and thank you for doing everything that you do, which very few people get to see. I love you. My friend Chris Forsalina, after hearing I had been nominated, said that he would fly home from Nashville if I won because he felt it was such an honor. Having his own father receive it, he's in Iceland right now. So he's just a liar. But we're gonna press on without it. Chris and I actually did discuss that I was gonna be announcing today a $5,000 scholarship for a McMahon senior in Dr. Forsalina's name, which will be happening in the spring. I and everyone I know had the utmost respect for Dr. Forsalina. I had the privilege of knowing him as my principal when I was here, and I got to know him much better after high school with Chris and our group of friends. I learned a lot from him, but two things that I really learned were hope and patience. Because as I watched him have to put Chris through high school and college, hope and patience were the only two words that kept jumping out at me. It's okay, I told Chris I was gonna wreck him while he wasn't here, so those are actually facts. I'm saying that as my own father is probably nodding because my brother and I were so awful as children as well, so. As I thought about today and coming back to Brien McMahon for the first time in a very long time, I had a lot of memories and a lot of feelings that popped up. Most of them about my friends and the faculty and the people that helped shape me into the person that's actually standing here before you. I consider myself very lucky that 37 years ago in these very halls, I met 6 unbelievable people. Rudy, Stacy, Lonnie, Joe, Chris. I just left one of you out. Matt. Thanks for coming. It's amazing to me that 37 years ago we met in 1996, our freshman year, and to this day they are the rock of my life. They're the foundation of my support group, and I thank you guys. I look forward to another 37 years with you. Thank you. I also feel so fortunate that the faculty that gave me so much are still a part of my life. Stephen Unziato, who had been a part of my academic career since I was a 6th grader in Rhoden Middle School, and then when I got to McMahon was one of my football coaches. I just had dinner with the BJ Ryans the other night. An amazing gentleman and just a wonderful example of someone that kept our relationship going throughout the years at my age of 51. Another example of that is Joe Schnerlein, who is here today. Joe was my teacher, my wrestling coach, my track coach, and he is one of the few people that gave it to me straight until it hurt. He also taught me the phrase, pull your head out of your ass. And I use that every day on myself because it does have to happen. Mad Dog Joe Mataferri, because of my relationship with little Joe Mataferri, is still a part of my life. And I would be remiss if I did not say that the late, great Jack Casagran was a man that taught me to a work ethic and a discipline that I'm so grateful for to this day. He also taught me that in 1996 you could still hate your students. Yeah. It's ironic to me that you don't realize while you're in school what you're learning from these people. It's not till later in your life that you're dealing with your own character and your own responsibilities that you see that they gave you some of the best life lessons of your life, and I thank them all for that. I would also like to thank my parents, who I am fortunate to have here with me tonight. I thank you for your support over the years, and thank you for teaching me through your actions that kindness costs nothing, and that if you can give back, that it is a gift for not only yourself, but for the community. And I thank you for that. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to have the restaurant business be a passion for me, but also to be a catalyst to help the community and be able to form the B.J. Ryan's Foundation. With the help of so many people, the foundation has been able to help the Norwalk community for over a decade and a half, and we have no desire or intentions of stopping anytime soon. There is in no way I could ever do what I do, or what the restaurants do, or the foundation does, without the help and teamwork of everyone in my life. From my wife, my family and friends, my business partners, my staff, my managers, and my patrons that are all so involved and passionate of what we do. I thank them for their constant support and their help. I thank all of you for being here today and for this honor, which I will cherish for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Are there any former Hall of Fame inductees here today? And if there are, could they stand up? Thank you. Before we close this afternoon, I want to acknowledge the committee that made today's induction possible. Please stand, if you could. Find my list. Please stand as your name is called. Wendy Lamb Caldwell, class of '69.
They're in the hallway.
They're okay.
They're putting cake out.
Okay. Jolene Cardillo DeBoer, class of '72. Still in the hallway. Okay. Yeah. Betsy Jensen DeFinis, class of '67. Jane Smith Graham, class of '65. Sarah Ann Relier Klein, class of '78. Leslie Keller LaJoy, class of '80. Dolores Nuzzo Ramsey, class of '62. And Marianne Forcelina Wareheim, class of '65. Each of these individuals have a keen interest in keeping Brien McMahon High School in the forefront of our community. Whether it's through our fundraising efforts like our golf tournament, scholarships for graduating seniors, or financial support for the school's activities and clubs, this exceptional group has always been an invaluable source of support to Brien McMahon and the city of Norwalk. To that end, the committee chose this year's inductees who mirrored that same kind of dedication and have brought honor to their families, all McMahon alumni, and their community. In short, I want to say to Lisa, Alexander's family, and BJ, This committee chose the best. Congratulations to you, and thank you for coming.